Namaste. Good morning. It's about 10 o'clock here in Tennessee. The weather today is supposed to be about 74 degrees. I think I might fire up the barbecue later on this later evening. um, I wanted to put out there that these videos are not the exhaustive, as in if I were in person coaching you or coaching your team, corporate, retreat, summit, you name it. These are highlights to get you started where you are at, with the understanding that not everyone is in the capacity to have or to see themselves as having enough resources for a full dive immersion that becomes the catalyst of your own personal transformation. In that understanding, transformation, it shows up in unique ways to your uniqueness. So what might appear to someone else may be confounding, or a term that I often hear is vague, because the frequency of understanding is not in the same alignment as the frequency of understanding that is being given. Okay? And a lot of times with our backgrounds, we end up going down life paths that don't uniformly or universally elicit communication, but we get stuck on communication as surface level understanding. To break it down into terms, what you might say in the field of an engineer or a first responder, corporate position, retail position, or even school position, whichever position you might have in school. You will have a different way of communicating, and your audience may have a different way of understanding what you are trying to communicate. Bear with the understanding that what once appeared to be vague becomes clear as you exercise a disciplined practice of elevating and equipping yourself with knowledge and experience. It's not enough just to know the material. You actually have to apply some physical steps, which is building a routine or a discipline of practice, a ritual, if you want to call it that. I don't really like to use rituals because people closely associate rituals with religious circles, occults, esoteric communities. And really what it is you discovering all that there is about you and all of the ways in which you contribute to your experiences in life and the experiences other people receive from you. As you show up in the world, people receive you. Okay? As you think of yourself, people receive the energy as you think of yourself. Doesn't matter if you're not thinking about it in that moment, in that way. That's why I always say be careful how you speak about yourself. Because your subconscious is recording everything. And it's going to play it out into your experiences. I have no idea how long this video is going to be. I also have no idea what direction it's going to take. I do have some jotted down notes as they were flowing to me, but they're literally highlights. They may touch on things that I have already spoken about in other previous videos, or you may find the concepts in the books I have published. Wherever you are at in the world, it is my charitable gift to bring this video to you through the guise of the universe, so that you may begin living life unattached. Now, when I say unattached, I mean unattached to the old identities that no longer serve a purpose to be present within you. That they keep drawing in experiences that you've just had enough of that. In order to draw in new experiences, you have to elevate the previous identity or narrative of that identity to a higher vibration. I have sage burning to the left of me, so you're going to see smoke come across the screen. There are practices out there that help you align your physical body. But your physical body is not the only component that is coming into alignment. Remember I said that you have a multi-bodied self. Your emotional body, your physical body, your mental body, heart body. You have multi-dimensional bodied self. And in each of those, you have stored information, of which you have rendered values in the experiences as they occurred, and they became recorded as the state of being in which you were at, and the value of which you assign to that experience. You can transmute that into a higher vibration. Remember I said nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. Sorry, there was a bee there. Even when you're in the moment and it feels like it's super pressing and stressing you out, it's only temporary. Phrase that comes to mind, this too shall pass. Okay? Don't take a permanent action for something that is temporary. Okay? And receive that however you may. But I wanted to talk about posture. Okay? If you were to observe somebody from a distance and they don't physically see you observing them, and they're interacting with their environment, whether it's people, a place, sitting in nature, etc., etc., what posture are you observing them holding? Are they in a posture of confidence? Or are they in a posture of overwhelm? And I say that because a lot of times we don't pay attention to the body language as much as we should, but we absorb the information past our conscious awareness. And then we mimic the behaviors and patterns that we had assigned a value of that experience and created an identity around that value. And so when an experience comes in and you have used your compare and contrast ability from a historical experience to a present now experience, you are in a pattern of behavior of which you will probably elicit as you rendered it in a familiar experience. And I say familiar because it only becomes familiar when you experience it. Anything that hasn't happened is unfamiliar. But you draw familiar experiences the more that you send your focus and energy to the historical thing. Or you create new thought patterns about someone else that's overshadowed with a historical experience. Remember I said that to be loving at all times, not that you love someone, but in all of your manners, your thoughts, the way you present yourself, the way you speak, embody lovingness at all times. And you will experience lovingness like experiences coming into you all the time. You have that polarity to attract that experience. You also have the polarity to attract unfavorable experiences, and that's why we sift through our dirt so that we may grow from where we're at. Okay? I don't ask you to change who you are for my well-being. I ask you to examine yourself to determine if you feel you are ready to make a change, because everything that keeps happening, you're done with. You're tired of experiencing on a loop. It's not that that other person is doing something to you. It's that life is happening for you, but you're not in the frame of mind to realize it's for your greater benefit, to grow. Posture of form. People that know what they want. People that have some type of mantra or affirmation, they repeat and repeat and repeat. They're not just speaking to themselves, their inner component is recording everything they speak, whether it's audible or in tone. In tone is when you speak within yourself. Audible is when you produce sound waves out of yourself. It all still has the capacity to create with the energy of your words. Yoga. Yoga teaches you different forms to align your body to the flow of energy so that you may bring your body into alignment, not just with your goals and desires, but your well-being, your health. Understanding and defining goals and plans that you hope to experience. It's not enough just to imagine it. Sometimes you have to really immerse yourself into that idea to create it with such a magnetic, strong pull to draw it into your experiences. Invest in yourself. When you are sending money out because someone has something that you feel is of a potential value for yourself, you are investing in them and the positions that they are holding. Invest in yourself. And when I say that, I don't just mean apply money. I'm talking about cultivate a higher self. Cultivate a higher knowing of yourself. You will be no good to someone else if you're only at half capacity, because you're going to be jumping up and down through frequencies, and you might be in the wrong frequency in front of a person that didn't deserve the way you are presenting yourself. Okay? Yes, you have to be conscious and mindful and police yourself, because the whole purpose of that is so that whatever you send out is going to come back in whatever form it comes back in. If you want love to come in, you must be rendering love outward. If you want judgments to come in, you must be rendering judgments outward. That's what it is. The person that's filling a role to reflect back to you what you hold within yourself, they're not doing something to you. They're just filling a position, a role, to bring it to your awareness, and they don't even have to say a word. You could be observing them from a distance, they not even know that you're observing them, and you cast judgment of what are they thinking. Are they thinking about me? Are they thinking about our last conversation? What's going on in their head? You have so much going on in your head already that you don't need to add more to it. Because 9 out of 10 times, unless you are connected in a telepathic way, they're not thinking the same thing you're thinking. That is you. But they're going to exemplify what you are thinking in the moment because you sent your focus and attention to that thought. And that experience comes into your life with that person that you profess that you love. But now you have them in a state of judgment. Let's understand that component for a moment, okay? What state are you vibrating at? And when I say that, when you are sitting here watching this video, what are you experiencing in a sensational way? How is your body responding? What emotions are rising to the surface of your awareness in the present moment? Finally, what do you want to do? All of these are your choices. All of these are rising to the surface for you to examine because they're within you. Okay? If you are vibrating at joy, you won't be in the frequency of fear or doubt or insecurity. You have to jump from joy, which is way up here, down into fear. You cannot be in both states at one time. You can hold the states within you, but you cannot be at the state at the same time. You will know this because you will produce something and you feel in your own sense that I am producing a positive statement, and the other person might be in a negative frequency, and they see what you are delivering as a negative thing when you produced it in a positive role. It's not that you don't have any negativity in you. It's that they are seeing the experience through a lens of observation of which they are vibrating at in the given moment. But you don't have to stay in that frequency. You can choose to elevate in frequency. Journaling. Let's talk about journaling for a moment. And I've brought this up in other videos, and it's also in each of the books that I have published already and continuing to work on and publish at later to be announced dates. Journaling serves multifaceted purposes. It gets your thoughts out of you. It releases. It also allows you the opportunity to redefine your beliefs or to create new beliefs in which your experience comes in to refine it as a living truth. Affirmations, as you write them down, your inner component is recording the information and the emotion that you are vibrating at as you are writing it down. There's a reason why people suggest you to repeat the affirmation at least 3 times, whether written form or spoken, internal, external, is because you have 3 parts of the mind. And this isn't even at higher elevated conscious. That's a further deeper path to travel, okay, to grasp. And if you jump too fast into that frequency of higher elevated understanding and you are not yet ready for, it will probably scare or terrify you because you're not well equipped to experience that thing. Give it time. Let the seeds that are planted in your soil be nurtured, so that as you break through those breakthroughs or plateaus, you become well equipped, not just with knowledge, but with experience. Life is more of a marathon than it is a single race, okay? Enjoy the process of life. Because everything that happens isn't happening to you, it's happening for you, okay? Write it down in a journal. Label your journal whatever you want to label it. That will inspire you to come back to it frequently. I understand you guys will have a mountain of excusable statements that come into and prevent you from doing so because of work obligations, home obligations, errand obligations, etc., etc., etc. But if you can spend 5, 10, 15 minutes on your phone, scrolling through, playing games, you have 5 minutes to release the built up stress through journaling. And you can even take it a step further. Write down as you feel. Write down as you are experiencing the sensation in the state of being of which you are currently at. And then under that, write, this is my old identity. And then cross it out. Underneath that, this is my new identity. Vibrate at it. What does it feel like to elevate into that higher identity? Imagine the feel of having that identity. Let it be present. Write it down. Every day, every way, I am. Every day, every way, I feel. Every day, every way, I do. Every day, every way, I love. Every day, every way, I speak. Every day, every way, I see. Every day, every way, I know. Let that be your starting affirmation. And in a world where you can be anything you want to be the thing that you dream of being. And embody the identity. Dress the part. Fill the role. until it becomes so saturated in it that it's all that you dream about. That you can see yourself doing whatever it is in a support in whichever way that support looks. Whether it's an audience of people that are coming to appreciate you being alive today. Whether it's an audience that appreciates you giving your gift of time in their life. Remember, time is a gift, not an expectation. When you demand time of someone, you're no longer treating the relationship as an intimate relationship, but a relationship built on expectation. Okay? How many of you out there are trying to be a yes man or yes woman? That historically, every time you said no to something, it led into an argument, a disagreement. It led into justifying your statement. Only to find out when you justified your statement gave another avenue for that occurrence to diminish your statement of no. It's almost like someone trying to take away your free will to say no. But then if you don't fit in the paradigm, then there's other conversations that says, well, I think it's not going to, I don't think it's going to work out. No, you think in this moment that what you were expecting isn't going to work out. Because you're vibrating at a different frequency in that moment. Don't be afraid to say no. Because what becomes that pattern becomes familiar to those persons. And when you break that pattern, it becomes unfamiliarity and it becomes a crisis in those other persons because they formed an identity of your image as always being a yes person. And it surrendered the ability for you to grow and that other person or persons to be able to grow. How often do you appraise? How often do you share gratitude and then the very next line of that gratitude you put a but or you put some other statement that robs the 3.2 seconds of that gratitude being expressed and shuts down. Where gratitude was only shown in the moment, almost in an instant gratification type way, but you're not looking for an instant gratification. You're looking for an appreciation of your existence in their lives. And a lot of people will throw up their hands and separate. They don't want to change their choices. They don't want to change any aspect of themselves. They like being familiar even when it's non-conducive to their well-being. Because familiarity means comfort zone. Growth means out of comfort zone. We tend to treat relationships. Let me correct that. Traditionally, relationships are often seen as a exchange. And it doesn't have to be with an intimate partner. A relationship is how you relate to that. Whatever person, place, thing, idea. You can go to somewhere that might trigger a recall of a previous event that fits the current location that you're at, and you've never been there before. But a scent in the wind draws a historical experience. A sound in the distance draws a historical experience. How you relate, you experience in relationships. What does the word relationship mean? Where does it come from? Is it something we just say because someone else taught us that we say it this way? A lot of our words are from Greek and Latin in English understanding. In Latin, the word relatio is where we get relationship. Okay? The meaning is to connect with. You connect with a coffee cup. You connect with a laptop. You connect with a phone. Anytime you place your hand on something, you are connecting. You are giving your hand the identifying role to connect with or to relate with. And the energy that you are producing is creating connective strands as you are vibrating and rendering value in the experience. How about intimacy? Intimacy is not just the physical form of connectedness with a romantic relationship. Okay. Intimacy comes from the Latin word intimus, which means to connect on a deeper level with. Okay? A deeper level means it's not at the surface level. Okay? Day one that you meet someone brand new, and you're trying to present the best version of yourself. Relationship begins. As you become familiar with the better version that you became introduced with, your vulnerability becomes active. And all of the things that you didn't zero in on is becoming highlighted as well. Remember, when you invite someone into your space, you're not just inviting their good part, you're inviting the whole package. What they hold in a negative value as, what thoughts they spin in their head, or emotions that they turn, expressions that they reveal. You didn't know what the whole package was. And that's okay. Because somewhere in you said, anything they brought to the table was worth them being in your life. And you saw them as worthy in your life. But then life comes in and tries to challenge you to grow in your relationship, and you find it as a stab or a thorn in the side. Saying the person changed. The person isn't the same person. No, the identity that you had for that person is changing. And you are changing with that person. And the feeling that you're feeling of being separated isn't separated from the person. You're feeling the separation of the identity that you hold of the image of the person within yourself. An intimate relationship means having an innermost connectedness with, whether it's a person, place, thing, an idea. You've created an intimate connection with. At the beginning, you probably couldn't stop thinking of the other person, right? In your highest vibrational states. But then they filled a role that highlighted a negative quality that you had within yourself. And you started seeing them as the negative component, not what you have within you. And now you're on this balancing scale, right? Evaluating, rendering judgment in your relationship. Call it what you want. It's still judgment. It's still rendering a value. You are assigning a value to the person or experience. It doesn't have to just be a person. The experience itself can receive that energy. This is why I say practice being mindfully aware of all that you do with your whole self. Chores at home, in a relationship, you desire a balance, right? You desire teamwork. But the definition of which you have for balance and teamwork may not be the same definition and understanding as the other person that sees as balance in teamwork. That's where uniqueness comes in at. Okay? If a person is predominantly someone that works on their own, works by themselves, and you thrust them into a position to work as something they are not, it's going to create friction. They're going to try to attempt it because of their affection for you, but then you're going to render a value of judgment because they don't measure up to the expectation that you were expecting. Write this down. Expectation kills intimacy in a relationship. You are trying to get that person to live to that expectation. Communication in a relationship. How you communicate. How you express yourself. Are you being allowed to express yourself authentically? Or are you getting shut down? If you are sharing what is within you, and you're only sharing it, you're not blaming, you're not saying to, you're not saying you are, but you're sharing what you are feeling and sensing in the moment. That's your truth. No one can refute it. They can try, but they can't refute it. But when they don't like something coming out, and though they don't intentionally try to do so, it ends up becoming a silencing effect, where your voice is now suffocated from speaking, because anytime you speak, it's not met with an understanding of you being unique. Instead, it's like programming a robot, conditioning a robot to perform and behave in the manner of which you want it to perform and behave as. Robot has no free will, so it takes your command. Well, people absorb that energy as well, and they start fulfilling things, but even fulfilling the things that were causing, or that you were feeling like was causing a disharmony, isn't even perceived as a gratifying or a gratitude thing, but rather a subjective fault thing. If something's causing you unwellness, and that person has the capacity and power to remove that unwellness, and they do it in their best capacity, it's not that they're undermining you, it's that they don't want to see you stressed out anymore over that thing, because of what it does. And it will look like taking a radical movement. It will look like a call to arms. I don't intentionally desire to cause harm with my actions, words, or how I present myself. But if something is eliciting that of me, my first idea is I want to alleviate the feeling of it. Come back and discuss it when we're in a right set of mind. Okay? Relationships. Yeah, they're work. Because you're not dealing with something that's a robot. You're dealing with another living person that has lived their own life experiences, that has brought with them all the values that they have rendered and all of the experiences that they have experienced. And you might have similarities, but when you stop seeing the person as a value of positiveness in your life, you're going to always zero in on the negative things that they carry with them. And a lot of those negative things is being reflected because you hold them within you. You can't identify something being a negative aspect if you don't have it in you already. What you think a relationship is, and how you treat a relationship is what you already have a defined value in you about relationships. Be careful with the word always, because even if the person isn't always doing that thing, your mind is recording it as an always statement. So each time you observe that person, when they're off doing their own thing, but they're in purview of your visual focus, or at a distance and they're thinking of that person, there's a high possibility that they're going to shift into the frequency of the always that they have affirmed with their own thoughts. And the experience that's coming in is only redefining it as a living truth because of the belief that is held within. Relationships can work with you or work against you. It depends on which position you allow it to occur. Do you see it as option or opportunity for growing in a relationship? Or do you see it as an opportunity of give and take? Like a vending machine. And when a person has done the same task over and over and over and over and over, they're trying to express that, hey, I'm exhausted of doing this over and over and over and over. But anytime that I bring it up to the attention of asking others to help out with it, it's like you ask them to give you an arm or a leg. Because they didn't see how the patternization of familiarity of the task being performed not fully appreciated of that being done. And that's working both people or multiple people. There is always work to do within yourself. Mastering yourself doesn't mean that you finish the book, go through all the series, and come back to it, and that you're done. Every new day highlights something that you have within you, or highlights an opportunity to determine if you're going to mimic the same behavior or choose a different route and express a higher vibrational behavior. There's a difference between being mindful, and being mindful. A mind full is a lot of chatter, a lot of monkey business going around in your head. Mindful is being aware of what's going on in your head and how it's being contributive to what you are experiencing in life. We attract in our lives what we focus in on. As we focus in on that thing, we are sending energy to that thing for it to occur in a new experience. And we might be jumping back here and comparing and contrasting from a historical experience, overshadowing a new experience. Sometimes a person's filling a role and they don't realize that they are being seen as a different shadow of something that they are being compared to historically. Whether it's something that they were participatory in or not even existent in the time frame of that. And this isn't everybody. But these are the different components in a relationship that are seldom addressed for fear or doubt or insecurity. But the most attractive thing in a relationship is being vulnerable. And as you see your partner being vulnerable, understanding how much courage it takes to be vulnerable before you. Okay? Expecting them to be vulnerable is different than them being vulnerable. Vulnerability is not a weakness. It's that that person trusts that person well enough to know what battles they face within themselves. in your journal, notebook, whatever it is, something that calls out to you to want to spend the time of yourself invested in it. In your journal, write down what you are feeling in this present moment. As you write that down, someone else isn't writing it down for you. You are writing it down. As you write it down, be honest, because only you feel what is in your body. Only you feel what is active. The thoughts you hold in your mind are your thoughts. What you see or perceive through the lens of which you are observing is through your lens, not theirs. So in your journal, be authentically honest, because you can't change something that is not true. Okay? You can invite something you haven't experienced into your life, but even if you're in a different vibrational frequency, you're not going to notice it come in. But if you practice your mindfulness and being consciously aware of more that is happening in a moment than zeroing in on an aspect that is occurring. Remember, aspects are like pixelated squares of a whole picture. And this is why I don't say everything I see or everything that becomes clear, because people are not ready to always hear it. And even if it's the truth, even if what you speak and what you are seeing is true for you, it's not true for them, because they're not speaking it, seeing it, thinking it. This is why your journal is important, to get your truth into your journal. And then rewrite the narrative of the identity that experienced that experience. A yes man, yes woman will try to always be present, and they will typically try to go out of their way to please someone else while ignoring their own well-being. This is where you invest in yourself. Whether it's a free workshop that I host, whether you get information and it makes connection, a relationship with the content, everything I provide in the videos is just a highlight of an actual full session. Okay, it sounds like it jumps around, but it literally highlights different topics in an actual session. But how are you relating to things in your experiences, people in your experiences, locations and places? How do you want to relate? Motorcycle. Sorry about that. When you are relating based on how you want to relate, not based on how you are familiar in relating, you open your relationship up to greater potential of growth. You don't always have to say what you are doing to grow in your relationship, whatever that looks like. Follow up in your journal and create a story that you would desire to live. You, not other people, that you desire to live. And give it every positive way that it can occur. Don't focus in on how it can't occur, or what excuse you might have in the present moment for it not to occur. Imagine as if you are a limitless, abundant being and you have everything that you ever needed to make that a reality. Imagine yourself being as that. Embody it and allow your physical reality to catch up with the vibration of being in that new identity. And I guarantee you, February 3rd, 2025, mark this day on your calendar, because you will experience as you change within yourself. Not all experiences are pronounced. Sometimes they go at a subtlety, and unless you are consciously aware of what you are observing, you may miss it as it comes in. Doesn't mean it never came in. It just means that you did not see it as it came in. That's completely okay. Keep writing in your journal, because you have a witness within you. And as it is witnessed, it is being recorded as a witness. And then projected into your experiences. This is why when you go to school, you're taught to write down notes. As you're writing them down, you're absorbing the information. But sometimes when you write down the information, you don't absorb all of the information. If a word is brand new to you and you look it up in a dictionary, you get the concept at a surface level of what the dictionary is telling you, because something is telling you that it is this, or someone. It is your due diligence to dive deeper and create an intimate relationship with understanding that word and how that word is functioning and how it makes a connection throughout the existence of your entire being. Everything in life is connected. Everything. You cannot prove me otherwise, because I see how it's all connected, but I won't tell you how it's all connected. That is your life journey. Today I'm going to give you a homework assignment. Today I want you to express love at all times. Even in a difficult moment. Even in a challenge. Because you will get challenged. Because it's not familiar for you. And so it's going to tug at you, trying to bring you back into familiarity. Be loving in your words. Loving in your conduct. Loving in your thoughts. Towards yourself and other people. Places, things, animals, plants. Plants love communication. They don't tell you how to communicate to them, but they love your energy. And when you speak positive to the plants, they grow in vibration. Speak negative to them and they wilt. Be loving to someone today. Even if you don't know who they are. Even if you don't know their story or what life experiences they've lived. Love with your thoughts. Love with your emotions. Love with your desires that produce a greater experience of love that has not been experienced. Because you will experience that come back to you. But it's your ultimate choice. You choose to show up as you show up. People can challenge you, and I get challenged daily. I get challenged daily with people interaction, with nature interaction. But I know the deeper, intimate level that I have some kind of rendering connection of a relationship with it. And when it produces something that I might see as a less than favorable thing, I know what I can do to see it in a positive, favorable way. Because every experience has both. That's the law of polarity. In every experience, it's going to have both negative and positive scales. And the conscious observer is the one who's cueing into the values based on what they're vibrating at in the current moment. When you trust within yourself, people trust within you. When you doubt within yourself, people elicit the behavior in connection with the doubt that you have within yourself. Speak a positive word about yourself right now to yourself. And repeat that. Repeat, repeat, repeat. The more you repeat something, the more it gets played over and over in your auto projector into your experiences. I'm not saying you're not going to have challenges, but I am going to tell you that you'll be able to navigate those challenges with greater clarity and ease. Challenges are just opportunities for growth. Even when it's not understood in the moment, they're just opportunities for growth. If what I say in the videos has piqued your interest because you have been living life experiences on auto repeat and you are at your wit's end of what to do to experience difference, change in your life experiences, to be more pronounced in a favorable way, reach out to me. Connect with me. And I guarantee you on day one, before we even see each other face to face, the change is already begun. I will just employ knowledge, tools, and practices that you can do without having to spend a fortune on resources, materials, etc., to align with what you're trying to accomplish. Connect with me. My information is on Facebook. In the inside of the books that I have published has my contact details as well. My email, phoenixreikiservices@yahoo.com. YouTube channel. Connect. There's plenty of ways to connect with me without having to pay a dime to connect with me. Okay? Let's see if we can help elevate you from your current state of being to a higher state of being and bring yourself into a greater neutrality than where it's been resonating at. Okay? I love you guys. You guys keep showing up, and it encourages me to keep producing for your well-being. And as I extend these videos to you guys, I rewatch them myself because I'm not so prideful to not think that I can't learn something out of what comes out of me as well. Not so much of mannerisms or how something's delivered or the words I use, but I know there's more that I can grow from what comes out of me because I allow the flow to happen. I would say probably about 25% of it is absorption of knowledge. The rest is experience. What I experienced through my body of living in multifaceted ways. But you are not alone out there. You're not alone facing giants, mountains, stubborn roots. But I will give you the tools and resources to help you navigate life more on your terms. Connect with me. Or if you have a space, I have no problem doing a free workshop. I would recommend that it be in a more localized area, as travel expenses do cost money. But that being said, connect with me. I'm in Middle Tennessee, Clarksville area, and we can get the ball rolling on elevating you to the frequency of your higher, truer self. But we gotta sift through garbage, okay? We gotta sift through the dirt that we hold and cultivate it. Plant some new seeds. Alright? I love you guys. Connect with me. Have a great day.